record on this computer. I will upload this recording so you can watch it before you have your final exam. Sorry about that, Lucas. Thank you so much for I know you weren't intending to remind me exactly, but that notification helped me. Okay, so a few pieces of vocabulary before we begin. I want you to remember this word, backlash, specifically media backlash. Okay, what is that? It's eingedeutscht as shitstorm. That's because we say shitstorm in English like when it's not a very formal situation, like, oh man, you got to turn on the news. There's a total shitstorm concerning Balenciaga. So we do say, or oh man, I was out drinking all night. I didn't come home. It's gonna be a total shitstorm with my wife or something like that. So, but in terms of like formality and in written documents, backlash is the better word. So please keep in mind of that. Keep that in mind because it's definitely going to be a word you want to use. Another one, not really important for the Balenciaga one, but definitely important for the one you're going to experience, to double down on something. So I'm sure some of you guys are familiar, but if you say something dumb in the media, you say something dumb or racist or homophobic or bad or out of touch, and instead of apologizing, you say something that supports your original statement, or you want to explain it and say actually how it was right, then you are doubling down. So it's the opposite of taking responsibility and apologizing. So in your final exam, you could say, in the weaknesses or threats or something like that, the company doubled down on its statements, creating more media backlash, something like that. Okay, then I want you to remember these phrases. Perceived lack of action. So it's like the Sichtweise von den, I don't know how to say it, von dem Volk, von den Leid. I don't really know how to say it. From people, you're saying perceived lack of action, and what you really mean is perceived lack of action from the public was a problem. So this means there's a PR disaster and people like you and me think the company isn't doing anything to fix the situation. That's perceived lack of action. Please remember this. To blame others. Blame means beschuldigen, right? Not blamieren means beschuldigen. And please remember this word combination. We call it a collocation. To take responsibility. Sorry if this is easy for some of you guys, but some people don't remember the correct word partnerships. And please remember this word partnership. It's a great one. Mounting controversy. It means like building controversy, problems that are growing and making more problems. We call that mounting controversy. Remember, Eselsbrücke would be controversy that is growing into a mountain. Yeah, it's getting as big as a mountain. So we call that mounting controversy. All right, that's pretty much it. Those are some of the only phrases I would say definitely remember. And then last week I said what? Regret, restitution, reform, recovery. I would remember all of these, and I'm going to show you how to use them in just a minute in a report based on this. But remember the 4 R's for your recommendations section. Okay, this works perfectly with a PR disaster. So the PR disaster, what was it? Well, I had you answer a series of questions, and then here are some of the example answers. We'll use these answers to create some findings for the situation. But remember this, you used it for your coffee connection report. Well, of course, as I said, you can use exactly the same format for your final exam. I would love to let you use this template like a Vorlage on your final exam. I cannot. So you'll have to memorize it somehow. I know you got a million other things to do, but try to just remember some of these phrases. The purpose of this report is to shed the light on the market situation, not Peloton. Now we can just put in Balenciaga currently faces. Specifically, the situation regarding its stock and subscription figures, no, that's not the problem here. We delete this, and we can say regarding its media backlash, due to a recent mounting controversy concerning pornographic, that was the problem, pornographic ads featuring children. Now, if you think that sounds too hard, what we could just do here, not hard, harsh, put in quotations, pornographic, because that's what people felt. Yeah, that was the problem. That was the first two questions on your list. It includes a finding section complete with a SWOT analysis. All of this can be just memorized. Instead of Peloton, we put in Balenciaga. And it is based on information obtained in an investigation done by a consultation firm. I don't know if you can say that. Pay attention to the directions on the test. Pay attention to what it tells you, who is doing this, what this report is based on. Okay, I don't have this report in my hands or this test in my hands, so we'll leave this like this, but it might give you a name or an agency or something, so please be sure to include that. Okay, we identified the following key areas as crucial, not for Peloton, but for Balenciaga. Now, you got to bear with me, be a little patient with me, Geduld haben here, because the article is not exactly a test. Okay, it's not organized like a test, so it's not as easy to make a SWOT analysis out of it. On your final exam, you're going to have a SWOT analysis. Of course, now you have to write it. So you can just write it in bullet points, or you can do a cross like this and just draw that if that's what you would like, right? But I'm going to do my best to come up with some strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities. But basically, this article is only about the weaknesses and threats. But we'll try to organize our thoughts here, right? So let's say Balenciaga has created a significant, so none of this is right. Let's say a significant number of loyal customers and repeat purchases. It has also established itself as a very popular luxury brand, something as simple as that. This is not in the article, right? On your test, the strengths will be there for you, but I'm having to make it up a little bit, right? Because I said the article is pretty much just about weaknesses. We can also say Balenciaga. Balenciaga is fortunate enough to enjoy a number of celebrity endorsements and is featured. I'm using the best language I can. You don't have to remember all of this. It's featured prominently in magazines, in print, and social media, etc. So let's just say those are the strengths. You only need 2 strengths, 2 weaknesses, 2 opportunities, 2 threats. So what are some of the weaknesses that we experience? Well, can look some of the findings here. Okay. I remember one exactly. A perceived lack of action following the ad controversy. The public became disgusted and furious, and media backlash was immense. Remember, backlash, right? Not shitstorm. Let's see. Company. Okay, another weakness was a perceived lack of action. Another one was the general public believed that Balenciaga attempted. By the way, to attempt is a better word in written English than to try. It means the same thing, versuchen, right? But it sounds better when you say to attempt or attempted or has attempted, going to attempt sounds better. So the general public believe that Balenciaga attempted to censor much of the controversy surrounding these ads. They engaged in the Streisand effect. This is mentioned in the article. You don't have to remember this. I didn't include it at the beginning, but it's also a great piece of vocabulary. Streisand effect is when you try to make a problem better by blocking information, but then the public hears about it and you look like a big liar, a big censor. Sorry, hold on. Only better in written English or also in speaking? So Davor, maybe you could follow up. Okay, try and attempt. Both. It's more formal business English, let's say, and it's more formal written English. It's just more formal in general. Attempt. So if I'm in a meeting where I did something wrong at my company and I want to explain myself, I'm probably going to use the word attempt to sound more official and more intelligent and more formal. Okay, so the general public believed that Balenciaga attempted to censor much of the controversy surrounding these ads. They engaged in the Streisand effect, and it blew up in their face. This is an idiom that means the opposite. The opposite situation happened. Blew up in their face. Customers viewed them as dishonest and unreliable. Now, this is the hardest one, I think. On your test, it's going to be much easier. So please bear with me. Please be patient with me. I'm just going to say Balenciaga has the chance to rely on its celebrity endorsements and have its spokespeople like, Kanye. I don't know if Kanye, I think he's something else. I don't know who are their celebrity spokespeople, but like I don't know a specific name. So, and have its spokespeople speak on behalf of the company in the public eye. Okay, so just so you know, spokespeople, people that speak for your company. Nowadays in marketing, they're called brand ambassadors, but whatever you want. I don't know if you'll even have to use this word on the test. So spokesperson, spokespeople, just keep that in mind. And another thing to keep in mind is on behalf of. It means im Namen. Yeah, im Namen von. Please don't say in the name of. This sounds like 700-year-old English, like I take my sword out and I say in the name of the king or something like this. So please keep that in mind. All right, listen, we're running out of time here. So I'm just going to leave this as one opportunity. I'm going to leave the threats open as well. I'll give one threat. I'll say, let's see, other luxury brands in this sector could take over Balenciaga's market share, resulting in a sharp decline of stock and share prices. Something as simple as that. You'll have more details on your final exam. Okay, conclusion. In light of the above findings, right, can memorize this. We just put Balenciaga here. Is facing issue with negative media attention. That fits. Due to safety issues, that's not right. So poorly conceived ads, and must address this publicly. Do you see how the format I gave you at the beginning fits almost every time? It's like a muster that you can use almost every time. Additionally, not Peloton, Balenciaga must find a way to tackle the issue of coming back from this disaster and winning over its customer base again. Lastly, this works too. Lastly, the company needs to leverage the partnerships it has made, not with Adidas, just celebrities, and its celebrity spokespeople to see a rebound in stock prices. That works. That works even on your final exam. I'm sure there's going to be something about stock prices. So now, how do we use this thing I said? What was it again? The 4 R's, right? Regret is the first one. Then we have restitution. Then we have reform. And then we have recovery. How do we use them? Okay, delete these bullet points. Make a new one. Still have the same opening sentence. It would be prudent to express regret. Balenciaga can do this by holding a press conference. Please remember that. That's something I should have included in the beginning. Hold a press conference. That's the word partnership. By holding a press conference in which they explain how their ads were indeed offensive and poorly conceived. The company should not seek to blame others or try to double down on its ads or previous statements. Done. That's one of the R's. It would be prudent to offer restitution. Okay, you can remember that phrase. Express regret, offer restitution. Okay, so how do they offer restitution? They can do this by offering to donate, or let's not say offering, let's say by making donations to a variety of children's institutions and NGOs. Listen, if you don't know what an NGO is, that's fine. Hold on. Someone has asked a question in the chat. Giving a press conference is Denglish. No, I wouldn't say it's right. I would never say this myself. Give a press conference. I mean, I wouldn't say this, but it's probably because I'm an English teacher. I'm sure there's someone in like the NFL or NBA who says we're gonna give a press conference in 20 minutes. It's wrong English, but you know what? If native speakers do it, then I can't hold you that against you. But I'm telling you, hold a press conference is correct, is the most correct way. Okay, so offer restitution. They can do this by making donations to a variety of children's institutions and NGOs, or I can't remember what Stiftungen are. Foundations. So instead of NGOs, let's say institutions and foundations. They can, so let's not use they again. Balenciaga can publicize. Means if nobody knows you're doing it, then what's the point? So Balenciaga can publicize its donations softly, so that customers are aware the company is attempting to make things right. Okay, what's the next one? Reform. Implement reforms. Balenciaga can implement reforms by firing the primary team responsible for this ad campaign. Additionally, they can make this firing and hiring of a new, let's say, ethics department public, so that customers are aware that the company wishes to make things right. Something as simple as that. Last one was sorry about this. Focus on recovery. Okay. Balenciaga can do this by investing in a crisis team, reducing salaries. I mean, this is horrible stuff, but this is what companies do. Reducing salaries for lower skilled workers, laying off means to lay off means entlassen, right? Laying off unnecessary or redundant employees and creating new and distinct ad campaigns and product lines that will help win new customers and generate more profit, something like that. Okay, listen, my answers are okay. But what I wanted to show you is how you can take my Vorlage here, my Muster, my template, and just plug in the 4 R's here. So whatever you write in 2 or 3 weeks on the final exam is up to you, but depending on the information you are given. But what you can remember is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will bold these things. And of course, I'm going to put this on the Moodle as well. Focus on recovery, implement reforms, offer restitution, express regret. Remember all that. And also remember the form of the verb. Some of you guys on your coffee connection report, you wrote it would be prudent to, and then right here you wrote the company should da 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 da. That doesn't agree with each other, right? So don't just write a sentence here and then start writing whatever you want here. Make sure that these two things agree and this agrees. That's why I have express, offer, implement, focus. Yeah, because they all work with two. Here, this is a report, I would give a 1. I would give a 1 too. Okay, yeah, we missed one here and one here, but that's just for the interest of time. But this is a report I would give a 1 to. Okay, I'm going to post this. And please, before you leave, can you do me one favor? Can you answer this survey before you leave? Or, I mean, you can leave, but please do it. It really helps me in the future to know if these kind of activities are useful or not. It's what I'm focused on. And I know they're a little rushed because of my situation, but yeah, please give me your, as we say in English, 2 cents, so Senf dazu. Please give me your mustard. Other than that, you're free to leave. I'll hopefully see you in person next week. If you have any questions, please feel free to stick around and I will answer them. Thank you for your attention, guys. Take care. See you next week.
Andrew, I have a question.
Sure.
You said we have to write it by hand, and are we allowed to use an online dictionary or?
No, you have to. I should have mentioned that. I said no online dictionaries, but I didn't tell you
Okay.
what you could use instead. The only thing you can use is a book. So
Okay.
this is insane. They're saying go to the library and take it out or have one at home. I think I have maybe 2 at home, so I'll bring them.
Okay.
But this, yeah, really going back in time here. So sorry about that.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, Davor, I'll get to you at the end. Let me just start at the top. Ina, do you have any questions or are you guys just away from your computer? So I think Ina is not there. Sophie, are you there? Do you have a question? Okay, no questions, Ina. Okay. Sophie, you got a question? Okay, I guess you're away from your computer as well. Michelle, do you have a question? Michelle's no.
Yes, I've got a question. I might be a little bit late, but could you
I can't hear you, Michelle. Can you get closer to the mic or speak up?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfectly. I can hear you perfectly
Okay.
now.
I might be late, but could you give me feedback to my coffee connection report?
I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I have some time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to do that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Lawrence, how can I help you?
No questions. I just wanted to say that the presentation regarding the marketing and the value proposition was very helpful, not just for the startup project, but also for privately, for my usage and what I'm doing right now.
I'm glad
Yeah.
it resonated with you. That'd be great. I probably will remember you said that, but if you wouldn't mind, could you still fill out that survey very quickly?
Yeah, I just did already done.
Okay, cool. It always helps me like push ideas in our department if I have data.
Yeah. And you said you worked in an agency in Salzburg, right? Marketing agency.
I did, yes.
And just like, how was it working in an agency like that? Do you think it's useful to get a lot of experience, or would you think that it's possible to get all the experience needed by reading enough books and researching on your own?
I'm of the opinion that 70-30 when it comes to business, 70-30. So 70% is practical, 30% is theoretical. So it's like having a good psychological. So I studied psychology, I told you. Having a background in psychology really, really helped me understand people. Really, but I didn't. It wasn't until I actually got on the ground floor and started in the field and started working that I understood how to implement these things. However, that said, they wouldn't have hired me if I didn't have a good understanding in Germany of psychology because that was my first marketing job ever. I had no previous experience.
Okay.
So I
All
would
right.
say, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say that, like, because right now what I'm doing is I'm actually practicing the stuff with the company of my dad. I'm actually trying to implement all these things practically in reality, right? So I'm not just theorizing about it. But what I meant is, for me, for example, I want to create an advertising agency. Do you think I should try to work in an advertising agency first, or do you think it's possible that by practicing this, let's say with my dad's company and with maybe other friends, clients, that I could gain enough experience to actually build my own agency?
I can't give you an answer 100% for that. I think you're a bright guy. So I think you probably would be able to pick up on things very quickly. But for me, I think all experience is all. I'm an experiential learner. So the experience really helped me there, and I didn't do any project management, so I never want to do that. I always just want to be a worker. I just want to be a guy who is creative and does work. I don't want to be a guy who has to manage other people, and I don't want to be a guy who manages projects. So I can't tell you anything about that. Maybe that would help you if you see how other people manage people. You familiarize yourself with management styles, you familiarize yourself with a general day-to-day within the company. So unfortunately for me, I was barely at the company. It was more remote work because it was
Okay, I see.
during COVID. In Germany, I was still a teacher, so I only did it part-time, so once a week. So I didn't have a lot of insight into the inner workings. I will tell you, long story short, I would say experience is probably invaluable. And you're a young guy, you have time. Maybe give yourself 6 months, a year, pick up some experience, and then you decide for yourself, okay, this has been enough for me. Now I can take what I've learned and what I know theoretically and what I'm good at and combine it into something, that I want to create.
All right, cool. Thanks for
I think
the.
yeah, no problem. Okay, Davor, I'll show you a little bit about Canva.
Yeah, sure.
So here's Canva.
Interesting talk right there.
I'm glad. Canva, what's even better about it is, so basically what you do is, hold on, let me get my shit together here. Okay, so let's say let's say pitch deck. This is the one I used, so let's make a new one. Customize this template. And then you get the first thing here. You get the first slide here, and you can edit it as you wish. And then maybe I want that to be the first one. I want that to be the first one. I want that to be the first one, whatever. Let's say I want this to be the first one. Then I go here, click on that. It makes that the second page. I click on that. It makes that the third page. But what you can also do is, what I really like about this is, if you want to mix and match from other templates, hold on. For example, where's my stuff? Should be here. Hold on. Okay. Like here's one I have. Let's say there are slides from multiple different presentations that I like. What you can do is, it's very simple. Then Steuerung C, I copy, then I click here, Steuerung V, and I have everything from the other template here. So I also can apply all 10 pages, or let's say I want to copy and paste. We showed you that, but let's say I want to search others, can search for a new one here and click this. Let's say I can add that as a new page. So now you see I have 3 different presentations slides into one. Let's say I want a customer journey. Here's a simple one. I add that as a new page. So, and then I can just edit these. I don't know what I did here, but let's say I click on that. I can just start writing in here and just edit them, freely. So far, I've only used them for presentations. Is that clear so far?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So far I've only used it for presentations, but you can use it for docs, whiteboards. My wife uses it for social media, so I don't know how to use Instagram post, but if you do a little bit of exploring, I'm sure it's pretty self-explanatory. It's the same idea in essence. But my wife has much more, she's a social media manager, so she has much more experience in this regard. But I don't know what your strengths are. If you're someone who can just kind of search around and learn it on your own, I would recommend, looking through these. I'm a little familiar with docs. I would tell you more, but I actually have to go to the PHU, the teaching university, in 10 minutes. So yeah, do a little bit of exploring, but for your purposes, you go to presentations and then do what I said. And now you don't have to spend so much time creating slides or finding templates or something like that. It's also easy for you guys to work as a group. You just give each other access to the same file, and then like you can add your slides together in the same project folder. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. So, and my last question is, when I save it on my computer, is it saved as a PowerPoint document or
You can watch
how
this.
is
So
it?
I chose to have it as a PDF file, and you guys
Okay.
can do it as a PDF file if you'd like. Wait, hold on. I just want to check something really quickly. Okay. Let's delete before I confuse the two here. So go to projects. We just delete that. You go to projects. Here's your starter project. You go to this. You go to download. You have PDF, or you can do it as any one of these here.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thanks, Andrew.
No problem. See you next week.
See you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.